right, we're here with sisters Brooke and Lauren DeLeary. They have dual citizenship. They're from North Carolina, or at least that's where you guys formed as a group. Yeah. But they have a native reserve here in Ontario, which is so cool. I want to hear more about that. But as LoveCollide, they released Tired of Basic. It's their new album just in April, and they're doing this Canadian radio tour while you're on a break from your U.S. festival tour, which is so cool. So we're glad to have you guys here in Ottawa. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So tell us briefly about this reserve thing. I love that you guys have ties to Ontario. So what's up?
So we're Native American, and our reservation is right outside of London. We're Chippewa, so on the Chippewa of the Thames Reservation. That's where we're from. We have family who still live there, so we got to stay with them when we were there, and we actually have some family relatives here in Ottawa as well.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad to have you guys here. Now, the album is called Tired of Basic. So I want to know, is there something recently you can give an example of how you're trying to reflect that?
Oh, gosh. I think it's an everyday life choice thing. It's tired of basic. I think what we always try to do, and we want to encourage people to do, is ask themselves why. Why do you believe what you believe? Why are you in the career that you're in? Like literally everything that you do with your life, ask yourself why you're doing it. That way you can, in turn, figure out, okay, well, then what is it I want to do? Are you believing things just because your parents believed it? Or are you doing it because you actually found it to be truth? Or everything. So that way we can actually live on purpose. Because if we don't ask ourselves why, then we just go off and just do life the way that it's been brought towards us.
Right.
So we want to live on purpose. And I think it's every day, relationships that we're in or the friendships that we have, asking ourselves, why are we in them? Why do we have those friends? And so I think, every day we ask ourselves those questions.
Yeah. Do you have another example, Lauren? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, I was going to say, for me, I think that basic can also mean fear, living in fear, because often basic is just the norm, that's what we kind of explain it as, is the norm, what you're used to, what's right in front of you,
status quo,
been an example. And so even your question was, how are we kind of doing that, how's an example? And I think we each have our own individual things that we are working on, that we continue to work on, but we can have fear based off of what other people think, whether it's people in the world, or whether it's even the Christian community too. There's different things that you feel are set ways, and it's breaking out, like Brooke said, asking why we do certain things, and being true to yourself. So I would say being tired of basic is just realizing where you are just stifling yourself, or living in fear, and being brave even though you may have fear, and just being bold.
Where can you be more? Where can you do more?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's such a great message for your generation too, and that's probably a lot of why you've decided to make this something that you're really trying to preach, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And even with your song I Don't Want It, what's the story behind that?
So I Don't Want It we wrote that in the studio with our producer, and when we were writing it, we were just actually singing just any words that came to our head based off of a hook, a melody we came up with. So when we were singing
fluff words.
We could just fill it out.
Any words, and so we actually ended up singing the words I Don't Want It before we knew we were going to write a song, I Don't Want It, or anything like that. So we were just singing I Don't Want It.
That just kept coming,
I don't want it, whatever. And so we're like, okay, all right, cool. I like the melody. So what are we going to write the song about? And we're like, well, I really like I Don't Want It. What does that mean? What do we not? Yeah, what do we not want? And so anyway, we were all meditating basically on what I Don't Want It was, what are we not wanting in our lives? And Brooke and I had a lot of conversations about even in our careers and our personal lives, we were kind of at a crossroads, and
again asking ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing?
And what's next? And really, I Don't Want It had been our prayer in that season, and God, we need to know if you're a part of this next step in our lives, in our career, and should we make another album? Should we continue doing what we're doing? We had been doing it for about over 7 years at that point, and we needed to know if he wasn't a part of the next step, or our relationships or anything like that.
Like music career.
Yeah, like we didn't want it, So it was a prayer. So anyway, so that's like how we came up with I don't want it was first just fluff words. But then we realized it did come from the prayer of our hearts.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, just last thing as we wrap up, because I love how you guys are a lot of self-evaluating. You've obviously made some very intentional decisions in your life, and I know that you're vegan. Yeah. You like to shop eco-friendly and organic. So what's one of your favorite things to do when you're touring or visiting a city?
Oh, food.
Eat.
Yeah. Literally. We're obsessed with food, and even talking to you before we did this, you were like, oh, you need to go here and here and here. Yeah. And we do. We just love food. So we just go to the nearest place that's really local. We try not to go to any chains. We want to go to very local places and experience new things.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
That's my job on the road is finding all the new places.
Yeah, and
so
Adam
fun.
does the coffee shops and stuff.
Yeah.
I just hang around.
Well, it's so fun to have you guys here again, just visiting Ottawa, part of your Canadian radio tour. It's LoveCollide, their new album, Tired of Basic. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.